this video, I'm going to show you how to do a complete 3-hole oil change on your Harley Davidson Milwaukee 8. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on my 2017 Street Glide named Sheila.
Yes, her name's Sheila.
Quick disclaimer, I'm no motorcycle mechanic, so make sure you work on your own bike at your own risk and make sure you're careful and follow this manual. Let's go over the tools that you're going to need. A low profile drain pan, 3 new drain plug O-rings, 1 primary gasket, 1 oil filter wrench, 5/8 inch socket with a socket wrench, torque wrench, 3-inch extension, a funnel, T27 Torx bit, 3/8 Allen bit or key, a punch, rubber mallet, and of course your engine, primary, and transmission oil. I'll leave a link down in the description for all the tools that I'm going to use. Before you start your oil change, you want to go out on a ride for about 15 minutes so that way your oil can get up to proper temperature. This is going to make the oil thinner and it's going to drain out a lot quicker. Alright, now we're going to break loose the oil drain plug and the transmission plug so that way we can just unscrew it by hand. Once you have those loose, we're going to slide in our drain pan. Now by hand, we're going to take out both of the drain plugs and let her drain. Now that you have your engine drain plug and your transmission drain plug removed, you're going to come over here and loosen your dipstick. You're also going to want to remove your transmission oil dipstick with this 3/8 Allen bit. This is going to create a vent so the oil drains faster. Now that your engine oil is draining and your transmission's draining, we're going to move along and take care of the primary. Now we're going to remove the primary drain plug. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the derby cover with a T27. After you get all of them out and you get this one loose, you're going to stick your hand on the primary cover to keep it falling for when you take out that top screw. Nobody wants their derby cover in the oil. Now that your derby cover is off, you're going to want to take a clean towel or a rag and wipe all the excess oil off. Now that we got all 3 of our drain plugs out, you're going to want to wipe all the excess oil off of them and look at the end of them. They have a little magnet on it that catches metal shavings. If you have a little bit on there, it's completely fine, that's normal. But if you have large chunks on there, you need to go to the dealership and see what's going on. After you're done wiping them off and inspecting them, now you're going to want to replace the O-rings. Now let's replace the derby cover gasket. In order to remove this gasket, it's very simple. All you got to do is put a little poker tool in there, pull up on this gasket, take it right out. Installation of the new one is just as easy. Just go ahead and take your gasket, put it in the little slot that's in there, and push it down. Now that you replaced all your O-rings and you have a fresh gasket on the derby cover, you want to get up underneath the bike, wipe all the excess oil, and reinstall your drain plugs. After you install 3 of your drain plugs, make sure you torque them to factory spec. You can find that in your owner's manual. Now that we got all the drain plugs in, it's time to fill her up with oil. We're going to go ahead and start off with filling up the primary. When you're filling your primary, you have to make sure your bike is straight up and down. You cannot do this on the kickstand. If you don't have the Condor wheel chalk like I do, link down in the description, you might need somebody to help you with this. When you're filling up your primary, get yourself a funnel. Make your life a little bit easier. In order to find out how much primary oil that you need, check your owner's manual, it'll let you know. When you're filling it in your owner's manual, you'll have a little picture of the level that's supposed to be at. Now that your primary's full, let's throw on the derby cover. You just want to get all 5 started. You're not going to want to tighten them yet. Now that you have them all started, you're going to have to go into a star pattern, this pattern right here on the screen. It's very important that you tighten these to spec because you can easily snap the heads off these screws. Now that we have that derby cover all torqued up, now it's time to replace the oil filter. When you're changing the oil filter, you want to go ahead and get one of these funnels. I'll leave a link down in the description. This is a 3-in-1 funnel. Fill in the primary, you can use it for filling the oil, and you can use it for draining out the oil filter. First thing you're going to want to do is take your funnel, go ahead, slide it right underneath your oil filter. After you do that, you want to stuff a few rags underneath there in case you get some oil drips. Most likely you will. Now you're going to want to take your oil filter wrench, pop it on the back of the oil filter and unloosen it just a little bit. Here's a pro tip for you. Get yourself a rubber mallet and a sharp object so that way you can poke a hole in the top of the oil filter, and then you rotate it 180 degrees and you pop another hole in it. This way the oil filter will drain out a little bit so there isn't as much oil draining all over the place.
Oil spill!
Now you're going to let the oil filter drain a little bit. Now that the oil filter is all drained out, we're just going to unscrew it by hand. Now that we have the oil filter removed, all we're going to do is wipe out the excess oil. Before you install your new oil filter, make sure you dip your finger in the new oil and put it around the edge of the rubber seal. This is going to prevent it from seizing up the next time you need to take it off. Alright, now we're ready to screw on the oil filter. Side note, make sure you do this by hand. You do not want to use the oil filter wrench in order to screw this on. You do not want to over tighten this. Alright, now it's time for the easy part. We just got to fill this bad boy up with oil. To find how much oil your bike takes, again, just check your owner's manual. It'll let you know. Alright, let's fill up the transmission oil. So the oil level checked out, good to go. Don't worry if the oil level is just a little bit low. Once the bike warms up, the oil is going to expand and it's going to go to full. Just keep an eye on the level. Alright, torque down the filler cap. Alright, now you have the filler caps on. All you have to do is start it up and pray that it starts. Changing your oil is just as easy as getting your bike ready for winter. Check out this video right here for some tips. This is Joe Go with Joe Go Motorcycle Adventures, and until next time, ride on.